In 1986, a movie that captured my 10-year-old imagination was released. It's called Short Circuit. It was a movie about a military robot that was struck by lightning, causing it to become sentient, and therefore escaping the facility and exploring the world. It captured my imagination not only because it was based in a small coastal town in Oregon that I spent a lot of time in called Astoria, Oregon, but also because the idea of having robots in my life fascinated me. In fact, I thought I was going to build my own robot. So I would collect all these electrical components, transistors, resistors, capacitors, circuit boards, wiring. I swore I was going to build my own robot someday. I never did, but still the idea of having robots in my life never passed me. With shows like the Jetsons, movies like the Terminator, I was always intrigued by robots. And I knew one day I would have my own robot. So today I'm really excited that I finally have my very first outdoor robot. So let me introduce it to you. It is the Ecovacs A3000 GOAT Lidar robotic lawnmower. I'm so excited about this thing. I read through the setup instructions, and one of the first things I need to do is mow down my overgrown lawn. I need to get it down to about 4 inches. So while I do that, and while I get this thing set up, let me tell you all about it. This is the GOAT A3000, a robotic mower that actually makes lawn care easy and the perfect robotic mower for tech-savvy homeowners, busy professionals, and medium to large property owners. Most robotic mowers require boundary wires or complicated setup, but not the Ecovacs GOAT A3000. Thanks to its LELS Pro Dual Lidar system, it scans and maps your yard all on its own. No digging, no manual calibration, just turn it on and let it work. It runs on a 32-volt battery, powering dual blades that spin at 3,000 RPMs, cutting cleanly through thick grass. Its 13-inch cutting deck covers up to 4,300 square feet per hour, making it one of the fastest mowers in its class. And it doesn't just mow, it trims with precision. The edge close cutting system minimizes uncut grass near paths and barriers, while its zero-edge cutting mode lets it handle tight edges near walls and drop-offs without requiring manual touch-ups. One of its smartest features is its AI obstacle avoidance. The Horizon X5 chip detects and navigates around pets, toys, and furniture, keeping your lawn tidy without accidents. The app lets you customize everything: a cutting height between 1.2 to 3.5 inches, mowing schedules, and even different mowing zones for larger yards. Built for real-world use, the A3000 can climb slopes up to 27 degrees, cross obstacles up to 1.6 inches high, and handle different weather conditions without missing a beat. Plus, it auto-charges when the battery gets low, so you don't have to check on it. If you want hands-free lawn care with pro-level performance, this might be the mower for you. I have the lawnmower set up. It's charging. I'm not sure if that's going to be the permanent location for it, so I kind of just did a temporary setup. I may move it. Next is going to be the process of mapping the yard, but I need to wait for it to charge. All right, let's see if this thing is charged now. It's been about 2 hours or so. Yep, it says 100% charge. So let's go ahead and get on the app here. The next stage is mapping. So create a map to use advanced modes: auto mowing, area mowing, edge mowing, and scheduled mowing. And then I can either do a manual or an automatic. I think I'm going to do a manual mode for now.
Exit the station.
Okay, it's backing out of the station.
Please click Start in the app to set a starting point.
Okay, start.
Point defined.
So we're going to go and, oops. Okay, so I need to turn. Oh, that thing's got some pickup. It's got some moves. Oh, slow down there, buddy. This is when playing video games becomes really helpful. But I am not a video game player, so my control on this thing's a little, you can tell by the map, I got a little bit of a squiggly going. But we're doing pretty good. We're in the home stretch. Step 3, set the endpoint. Reached the closed area. Click End to close the map. That's a big area. We have this area that we're going to be doing some garden beds. And so I'm going to create a no-go zone around this so it doesn't mow our plants up. And then there's an area up there where it's pretty rocky. I'm going to just go ahead and make that a no-go zone also. So just one big no-go zone. And
Creation successful.
all right. So there's my no-go zone. Flower beds and vegetable patch. Before I start the very first mow of my very first robot, outdoor robot, I'm going to put the drone up in the air and throw that footage on right now. I want to show you how big of a size of an area that it's going to mow. It's a fairly big area. There's a couple no-go zones that I've mapped out. All right, let's go ahead and just get this thing started. So I'm gonna have it do its first cut. We'll follow along a little bit with it, and then if it gets to any interesting areas, I'll certainly show you those. So let's get this thing, let's get it started. You can see the map, you can see the no-go zones. You can do auto and start.
Start automatic mowing. Blade disc activated.
Oh, here we go. It's cutting. Oh wow, look at it go. I can see a difference. There's probably a 1/4 inch difference between where I mowed it and what it mowed. It's gonna mow 15,783 square feet. Oh, this is exciting. All right, let's follow it. It's really quiet. We're getting to a boundary area. Should turn around here soon. Yep. Yeah, cool. Nice little steep hill. So it's just going back and forth. Here, let's take a look at those lines. You can see the line that it's making. Oh, that's exciting. All right, I'm geeking out. I'm geeking out, I love it. All right, I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse. We're just gonna let it do its thing. Probably do some drone shots, all that kind of stuff. And then if anything exciting comes up, any issues or whatever, I'll get you guys caught up. What do you guys think about the robot lawnmower, huh? What do you think about that? So this thing has been mowing probably for about an hour and a half now, I would say. You can kind of see the pattern that it's made. So the light green area is the coverage or the mow that it's done already. The dark green is what's remaining, and then the orange with the red around it is the no-go zones. So it's still going. I'm very impressed with this thing. It's going up and down hills. It's going over like sticks and stuff. There's debris collection from when I mowed, like right here, and it just kind of pushes it out of the way. So yeah, look at that thing. It's still going. It's got 23% mowed of the area that it needs to cover, and there's 29% remaining on the battery, which means that it's going to go back and dock and recharge and then resume where it left off is my guess. So it's mowed here. It hasn't mowed there. It leaves behind just little tiny grass clippings. I think it's pretty cool. So far, it's gone around trees, bumped up to the no-go zones, and just kind of went around it, I guess. I can see that there's some areas where it didn't overlap very well. It's mowed over here, and there's an area right in the center, right here, that it missed. I'm guessing that it'll pick it up. So I'm not going to be too worried about it yet, but here, what happens if... Nope, just goes right around me. All right, I'll get out of its way. Johnny 5. Number 5 is alive. The mower has finished mowing the nearly 3/4 acre of area that I established initially. So let's do a review and see how it did. I set up this little area right here to go and mow here. It's kind of a rocky area because we have some big rocks and we have some gravel right here. It did okay here. It didn't, this wasn't the easiest spot for it, but it made it around. There was a point where it got stuck on this hose, but it eventually made it over the hose, and it even turned off the blades when it got stuck, drove over it, turned the blades back on. So I'm editing the video right now, but I want to point something out that I found out after I was done recording. In the app, under robot settings, there's a function called AI recognition that's meant to recognize various things like animals and pipes. I figured this out when Katie and I were recording another video, and I noticed that Johnny 5, the robot lawnmower, would not cross over a power cord that I had laid across the ground. So I believe with AI recognition on, the issue that I was just showing here with the hose will no longer be an issue. All right, let's get back to the video. I had to go on this side of the RV. It did this area quite well. There were a few sticks and some debris in here that it made it sway around. Like for example, this and this should have been out of here, but it did this pretty well. It's a fairly bumpy area, but you can see that it mowed it down nicely. It didn't get up around this tree because there's a big root system right there, so you can see this. There was a no-go zone that I set right around this rock cropping. There's a big dip in there and a big rock. It went around this, no problem. And in fact, it shows that's the no-go zone marked right there on the map. This is well within the mowing area, but it made its way all the way around this obstacle and continued mowing even around it. And we can see that obstacle is right here on the map. You can see the tractor that's right here on the map. It made its way around this tree. I need to do some better trimming around the tree so it'll get closer to the tree, because this tall stuff it just avoids. It got pretty good along the edges here. I think if I were to do some weed whipping before the next pass, it would actually get up to the edge and do a better job. It did get stuck in here, this little area right here, because again, this stuff is not mowed down enough. It's too tall, so I need to come in here with my string trimmer and get this stuff down, so next time it'll just mow into this area. It had no problem getting over this hose despite it being here. It went along this fence line very nicely. Did this whole field here. You can see a couple lines here of where it missed mowing, but I suspect on the next pass it'll get it just fine. All in all, I'm very impressed with this thing. So I think what I'm going to do now is set up a second boundary so I can have multiple areas and it can do each area individually. So I can have as large of an area as I want. It doesn't have to be just one single 3/4 acre. I set up a new area. This is area number 2. It's just over 12,000 square feet. So it's a fairly sizable area. Lots of things for it to avoid and go around. I've just started on it now. We'll see how long it takes. We also have rain coming in today, so I have the rain sensor on. It should stop when it stops raining and head back to station and charge, and then 3 hours later resume after things have dried out. So I want to talk about some of the good and some of the bad about this thing before we wrap up this video. So let's start with talking about the negatives of this machine. As impressive as it is, it definitely has some negatives. But I do want to start by first saying that our property, our homestead here, I would say is very difficult to navigate. Considering the field behind me, area number 2 that I just set up, wasn't even a field a year ago. It was full of trees. That means that there are lots of dips. There's still some roots in the ground that protrude. And I didn't realize just how many sticks are on the grass. There are so many sticks. So with that said, knowing that this is a difficult terrain, I do want to talk about some of the negatives. It did get stuck quite a few times. There were a few times that it went into loose material. It got itself stuck on a wood chip pile and it couldn't get out. It dug its back wheels in. I had to manually move it and get it going again. There were 2 times it got itself high centered on roots that were left behind when we removed the trees. Sticks are its arch nemesis here on this property. And sometimes those sticks do get stuck inside the blade of the lawnmower. So you have to lift it up and remove the stick. There was one time where it got itself into a position where there were some vines on the ground and those vines wrapped around the back wheel. Now, in all of these cases, I was able to rectify the situation, moving it manually, defining a no-go zone for that particular issue, or recreating a boundary so it wouldn't get into that position again. So over time, I think that's going to resolve itself. But in the initial setup and the first few days of use, those were issues. In terms of its mowing, it does a really good job. It makes the grass nice and level and flat. It looks really good, but every single cut that it's done so far, every single run that it's done so far, it's missed a couple rows. I think that's pretty consistent. I don't know if it's because of the terrain of our property or if it's whatever the reason is, but every single time it's missed a couple rows. I would like it to be more consistent and have a full coverage every single time it does a particular area. And then the last item that I didn't even expect, didn't even think of, is mowing around the base station. So it has yet to trim the grass around the base station. It could very well be my fault where I may not have included that area when I did the manual mapping, or maybe it's a design flaw, I don't know. But at this point, it has not gotten it. Now I can use the manual mode and I can manually move it with the app and have it mow that area, but I want to see it do it automatically. Despite its flaws, this thing is still very impressive, and I'm really excited about having it as my first outdoor robot. It has a very long battery life, so it mows for a long time, has a big coverage area. It has a fast charge time. It doesn't take very long to get it to 85% and resume mowing. I like the fact that it's very customizable. You have things like a rain sensor you can turn on and off, a pet sensor, the fact that it can recognize multiple things with this Lidar system. There's different mowing styles that you can do, from automatic, manual, enhanced, area, edging, different mowing patterns that are available, so you can really customize it for your particular situation. And it's super quiet. So I'm really impressed with this machine. So Johnny 5 is now going to be part of the homestead. It's going to help me save tons of time and keep the lawn mowed down in these 2 areas that I defined. I may even expand it to other areas on the homestead. I really like having freshly cut grass and things mowed down. It really helps me relax. So if you are in the market for a robot lawnmower or even a robot vacuum, check out Ecovacs. They have several different models to fit your budget and your property type. So check out Ecovacs. Their link is in the description below. And thanks for watching.